Mademoiselle, and ça c'est deuxième channel. And aujourd'hui, we're gonna be doing another voodoo story. I hope you guys are enjoying Vlogtober, as I am definitely enjoying filming these videos for you guys. If you guys have your own voodoo stories you would like to share and you just want to write them up, please send them to the Krikkrakcoz at Gmail email. That is KRIKKRAKCOZ at gmail.com. If you would like to actually meet me and do these stories, or you want to literally just be on with me virtually, definitely send your request to HaitianGirlTries at gmail.com. Both emails are right here on the screen. Again, virtual or in person, HaitianGirlTries. If you just want to type it up, Krikkrakk email. So let's just get started. Today we're going to be talking about the Lougawou in the neighborhood. Now, I actually did a whole video on Lougawou, and for the most part, I do not necessarily touch on them much, mainly because it's a phenomenon that I don't like to talk about. I'll say that because it is terrifying that there are flesh-eating monsters out there that like to target children. That's the best way to explain it. And a lot of people refuse to believe that they're not just in Haiti and that they're not just in Louisiana. So again, I did do a full video on this, and you definitely can go down in my description and or pinned comment to go check them out. If for whatever reason I do forget, you can just look up Lougawou and put Chronicles of a Zoo. You will find the video. I did an extensive explanation of what Lougawou is and what Rougawou are. But just a quick little preface, a Lougawou or Rougawou is basically a flesh-eating monster. But in Haitian culture, it is with an L. A Lougawou is essentially someone that has been turned into a flesh-eating monster by a Bokor. A Bokor is a voodoo priest, but not necessarily one that is ordained or chosen by the law or by God. They are someone who chooses to practice and basically be a voodoo priest on their own fruition. They know a lot about voodoo. They're very educated in voodoo, but they're not necessarily chosen to be the ones that administer spells and heal people. They just choose to do it on their own fruition. It doesn't necessarily mean that a Bokor or Ogun is more powerful per se, but an Ogun or a Mumbo is way more qualified to do the job of voodoo administration, if that makes sense. I also did a video on the difference between a Bokor and an Ogun, so you guys could feel free to check that out too. So typically, when it comes to a Lougawou or a Rougawou, people are turned into them when they do really shitty things in life, right? If you are the R word, if you were stealing, if you were committing adultery, like if you were doing like heinous, really inhumane things to other people, typically you were turned into a Lougawou or a Rougawou as punishment. Same thing with zombies, which I also did a video on. Again, I'm gonna link all of these down below. And the thing is with a Lougawou, in order to keep themselves alive, they have to give up a human sacrifice to the Bokor. And most of the time, the human sacrifice that is suffice is a baby. And the reason that babies are usually given is because babies are pure, they're innocent, and their bloods are sweeter than regular adults, because we ain't shit and our souls are tainted, and sometimes our bodies just ain't enough. Okay, so a baby is a lot better to give as a sacrifice. So for the most part, it is very crazy when you go down the rabbit hole of Lougawous. And for the most part, you only hear about them, like I said, in Haiti or in Louisiana. You never hear about them coming to regular civilization of America. You just don't. Okay, so for this video, we're gonna be mainly talking about Lougawous. Okay, Rougawous we know are typically Louisiana culture, but when it comes to Lougawous, they stay in Haiti. Okay, more than likely you never hear about Lougawous in America ever. We forget that Lougawous are human at the end of the day, kind of half human, half creature, whatever the case may be. And another thing that you need to remember about Lougawou is that Lougawou have families. They have kids. They're normal people outside of the fact that, you know, at night they take off their skin and they have to go find sacrifices for their Bokor, whatever the case may be. So that means that some of them have green card. Yo vini ici. They come here. People forget that sometimes your neighbor could be a Lougawou. Anybody around you could be a Lougawou. So this is what this story is gonna be about. The Lougawou down the street. Because y'all, when this shit happened, I was just like, you know what? I'm over it. I'm so over it. I'm tired and I'm over it. Like I was like, I'm done with Haitian people, because Haitians will always keep a secret. So Haitians always tell you half the truth. Comment down below if you agree, okay? Your parents will tell you, oh yeah, this is what happens in Haiti. Oh yeah, this is what happened to your family. Oh yeah, this is what happened in the culture. And then that's it. They'll tell you the whole truth. They just tell you half the truth. And they expect you to live with that. They expect you to roll with that. And then, you know, something happens and you're like, oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, that too. And it's like, well, why didn't you say that part? And they're like, well. So essentially, as I've said, I grew up in the hood, but I grew up in a Haitian neighborhood that happens to be very, very ghetto and full of people that practiced voodoo. There were Lougawou in this neighborhood. There were a couple Lougawous that even tried to take me a couple of times, as my parents told me a couple of times, okay? And the thing is, a lot of people, which, I mean, I guess that's my fault too, like when we explain this whole Lougawou thing, a lot of times I think we say like, yeah, they take the babies, like they kidnap them. Sometimes they do, like they actually do sit there and they kidnap the baby. But sometimes what they do is they just give the baby a fever and then the baby gets sick and then later on they kidnap the baby. Or they wait till the baby is dead and then they go dig up the baby's body and then they take the baby's body. Or they kill the baby and then they basically take the baby's soul in the afterlife and then they deliver it to the Bokor. It's a whole thing. Okay, so sometimes a Lougawou can kill your child, but you won't necessarily know because it could be more of a metaphysical taking of the child. I digress. There was a friend of mine whose mom was pregnant and she was pregnant with twins. And essentially she was feeling kind of lonely because her baby father left her or whatever the case may be. To be honest, I never really asked about that story because that's none of my business. What am I gonna say? Where's your baby father at? That's not my problem. I don't really care. So basically she was feeling lonely though. Like you could tell, you know how Haitians be acting when they lonely, just not like normal people. So she would feel some type of way, but every single time she would go to like her prenatal appointments or whatever, she kept saying that there was a lady there that would always like meet up with her and try to be friends with her and all of this goofy shit. And I was like, why are you talking to strangers? Like that was my response. And even my friend would tell her mom like, oh, you gotta be careful, ma, you gotta be careful because you know people, they not that nice out here. Like why is that lady all up in your face? My friend, she's a very brolic woman. Like she's very like on go all the time. She ready to fight, she ready to this, she better to that all the time. So I was just like, yeah, you know, I was like, yeah, you gotta be careful, you know, people just all in your face like that. And all I could think about is people that be sitting there kidnapping kids. You know, I watch a lot of true crime. That was all I was thinking. I was like, that's a little scary. Like somebody's just coming up to you all the time. Like how does she have the same appointments as you all the time? And she was like, oh no, you know, she's in the same trimester as me, whatever. And she was about 8 months, 8, 9 months. She was about to pop. And I was like, so she's about 8, 9 months too? She was like, yeah, I think she's like 7 or 6. And I was like, so you don't know? She's like, I mean, she must be around the same time because she has the same appointments as me. I was like, I don't know, something was weird about it in my spirit, but I was like, I don't know, it is a little weird. She's like, yeah, you know, she's gonna come here soon. I invited her to the house. At that point, my friend started flipping. She's like, oh, why would you do that? Why? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, you see, I'm the calm one in this situation. I was like, yeah, you know, maybe that's not safe, ma, you know. I used to call her mom. Not mom, but I would just say mom. You know, I'd be like, you know, ma, you know, that's not really safe. Maybe you shouldn't. You don't know her and I'm not ever here and then your daughter's never here and then there's never anyone here with you like that. You're just gonna invite the stranger to your home. Oh, no, she's a nice lady. She would never do anything like that. She's pregnant too. And we just sitting there looking at her like, I mean, this is your funeral. I mean, that's what I said. So eventually, you know, time passes or whatever. She has the baby and the lady starts coming around. I meet that lady the first time because I remember I had came over the house. I don't know why I came. I think I came to get something or give something to my friend and the friend wasn't there. So I just dropped it off. She's like, oh, the lady's here. I want you to meet her. I was like, oh yeah, I might as well see the babies, you know, while I'm at it. So I go in, I see that lady and I was like immediately bad energy. And if you guys don't know, I'm just like that. I could peep bad energy from like a mile away. Like the house was heavy, her energy was horrible, her eyes. And that's one thing when it comes to Lougawou, you could tell by their eye, their infatuation with the children. The energy is just always going to be off. And as soon as I saw her, I was just like, And at this point, the twins were like maybe 4 or 5 weeks old. And I'm just sitting there watching this lady. I was literally looking at her like, my friend's mom's just talking to me. She's talking to me. Yeah, Yvana, do you want any coffee? Do you want any tea? Do you want any? She know damn well I don't fucking drink any damn coffee. She's just sitting there trying to get me to get my eyes off this lady because I'm making her feel very fucking uncomfortable. Like, I am staring this Lougawou down because that's the first thing in my mind. I'm like, this lady's a fucking Lougawou, bruh. I'm like, there's no fucking way. At this, I am just staring at this lady. Yeah, Yvana, you don't want nothing? Yeah, Mind you, the lady's Haitian, my friend's Haitian, her mom's Haitian, everybody's Haitian. So she's sitting there talking whatever. I'm staring at the lady. It's awkward. I'm texting my friend like, do you know your mom's friends with a Lougawou? She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, this little friend she made. Have you met her yet? She's like, nah, I haven't met her. I said, yeah, you gonna have to get away from this lady, bro, cause I don't like it. I don't like it. She's like, man, you always saying something. You always. I'm like, all right. When something happens and somebody eat these babies, don't say nothing to me. And she's like, nah, you always don't say da 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 da. So of course I go tell my parents. I said, yo, I think my friend, or well, technically I told my mom her friend because my mom was friends with these people. I was like, yo, she's friends with a Lougawou. And my mom was like, what the? Like, I was like, what do you mean? You always calling somebody a Lougawou? Cause that I use that as an insult a lot. I be like, yo, don't be bringing these Lougawous around me. They Lougawous, they suck a bitch, they this, that. I am like that. Like I do be saying like, oh, this person's a Lougawou, this person's a Lougawou. Like get them away from me. They Lougawou, they this. I don't want to be around me. I do say that though. I'm not even gonna lie. But that lady, there's something wrong with her. And listen. My mom's like, wow, you say that? What makes you think that? My dad knew I was onto something though, because there's been times I was almost taken and he was right. So I was like, listen, energy's off, her eyes are off. She's always around these babies. She's been around her since she was pregnant. And then I heard she pregnant her damn self. It's been a while. She still ain't popped. She don't even look pregnant. She just look fat. My mom laughing, my dad laughing. I don't know what's so fucking funny. I'm like, yo, I'm genuinely afraid for the welfare of these children. This is legit. Like this, yo, alright, y'all keep laughing. Yeah, alright, boom. Fast forward, couple weeks later, why the fuck my friend called me talk about she hears some shit out her window, crawling up the goddamn walls and all of this bullshit. Kunya, mind you, she called me at like 2 o'clock in the morning, some bullshit like that. And I was like, you sure you don't got no niggas climbing in your window for like some booty call type shit? She's like, you know I don't be doing that shit. Da da da. I don't do shit in my house. I go to other niggas' house. I'm like, so what could it be? Like what's crawling? Mind you, I forgot about the whole Lougawou thing because everybody thought I was crazy. Everybody thought that I'm just talking shit and I just don't like the lady. I have no reason to be sitting there making things up about people. Immediately, I'm like, do you think? Nah. So I told my mom, I was like, you know, such and such called me and she said that she heard something out her window. And my mom's like, don't play. I said, I swear to God, she heard something. She said she heard something like crawling through the walls and crawling outside her window. So my mom, like, she looks spooked. She looks scared. She's like, oh my God, what you said might be right. Like, Kondi Pawolu, Tifia Geleo Lougawou. Like, she's really probably a Lougawou. Like, she was really probably trying to get the babies. And I was like, okay, well, let's test the theory. So I was like, all right. So she said she heard them out her window. And that day, she happened to be sleeping with one of the twins in her room. Which, yes, I know you shouldn't be sleeping with babies, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we get it. But this day, she was sleeping with one of the twins. So what she did is that night, I guess they left the twins in their room that night. So I guess the next day or a couple days later, same thing happened, but it was outside their window. And I'm like, oh shit. So I'm like, well, nobody believed me. I don't know. I ain't gonna say shit no more because every time I say something, it's a problem. So I ain't gonna say nothing. Now my mom's like, oh, I'm concerned. Da, da, da. I said, no, you're not concerned because I'm always calling people to know. All of a sudden, now my mom's like, oh, I'm gonna talk to her. I'm gonna talk to the lady because this is actually very concerning. I think you and your friend are right. Now my friend is freaking out. She don't want to sleep in the house. It was something where like she couldn't sleep in my house. It was a whole thing, y'all. It was a whole thing. So essentially, now my mom tries to speak to the lady. The lady thinks that we all nuts. Okay, that's what the lady thinks we all nuts. Unfortunately, after maybe a couple of months of this, because I don't know, the lady just couldn't get into the house. I would assume that the windows were closed or something. It was either that or they had bars on the windows. Like, you know how some houses or apartments have like those bars, like those black bars on the windows? Thank God for those. But from what I understand, some way, somehow, one of these windows probably didn't have it or some shit. I don't remember. I don't know how this happened. But one of these twins ended up getting severely sick on the brink of dying sick. This shit was so sad. Like, dying sick. Like, literally, like, almost on life support sick with some unknown disease that nobody knows. And what did I say? When it comes to these types of things, when it comes to Lougawou and they're really trying to kill a child, they're not gonna sit there and, you know, suck their blood and stick their nail in it and cut their throat. They literally strike them with a sickness. Clearly couldn't get to both of them, got to one of them, made them sick. And at that point, now the mother calling me, oh, Yvana, you was right. The twins in the hospital. Yeah. Oh my God. Where the lady? Disappeared. Gone. To this day, no idea where this lady is. I would love to see her because I will fucking cut her my fucking self. I will kill her my fucking self. And that's another thing with these Lougawous. That's what they do. Like when they do some shit like that, like they try to kill a baby or they kill a baby, they leave. Because clearly, especially in America, like, yeah, all things are gonna lead back to them. Like, not necessarily with proof, but spiritually, it's gonna lead back to them. And Haitians don't play that shit. In Haiti, we cut their heads off as soon as we suspect them. So at this point, I mean, the baby pulls through after like weeks, but I think the child has like brain damage or something. Like the kids are like grown now, from what I understand. They're fine. I haven't really kept track of them, but it was just a whole hot ass. Like that whole situation was taxing and ridiculous, and this is why you should listen to Yvana. But I mean, that's not the moral of the story. The moral of the story is be very, very careful when it comes to these types of things. Do not just let anyone around your children. If you have a really bad feeling, or if people around you have a really bad feeling about someone, especially when it comes to children, be very, very vigilant, okay? Because people are not just saying things just to say things, okay? People are not just trying to ruin your friendships and make sure you're lonely, whatever the case may be. That lady was just very, very nice. That's what it was, and she never wanted to think the worst of people. So I think that's why she was like, no, Yvana, no, no, no. So it was like, girl, your kid could have died, all because you wanted to have a fucking friend. I don't know what this lady was offering her that she wanted to be her goddamn friend so bad, but as you can see, it could have really been a deadly situation. Like I said, those twins are fine now from what I remember. I think I found them on Facebook recently, but it was just sad. So be very, very careful out there, guys. Be very, very careful, and don't just make friends with anybody, okay? With that being said, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, do all that, and I'ma see y'all next time. Bye!